Okay, welcome back everyone. So, couple of changes that we made since our last recording. We moved our GWT secrets to environment variable, and so basically at every request we were creating, not creating, but we had a key generated at every startup of our server. Now we have moved that key to the environment variable. So now it's part of our environment variable. And have made some changes to the README file. So we'll comment these things. Um, okay, so we are not committing JWT services now because we need to add a refresh token handling for refresh token. I think we did one more change where we had added a roles to our users. So at the time of login, there should be a default role added to them. Sorry, at the time of sign up. Sorry, extra extra claim should have the role. So the place we are calling build tokens from this, that is at the time of log. What we want is have a default role added during the sign up. So for this, let's review the uh, configurations once again. This is our custom authentication provider. So while authenticating, it gets the name and the password. It checks whether the user ID, the email ID password exists. If it does, it returns me the user object. Sir, my mute button is a link with some shortcut of IntelliJ. So you'll see the pop-up happening sometime. We can ignore it. Uh, for now, our authenticate method is basically call for login. So this method should retrieve the role. Actually, it does. It does retrieve the role and it pass to our auth token. So the only thing remaining would be to add the default role at the time of sign up. It will set the this needs to be a list. List. This is my default roles equals to new array list. Needs role and principal. That would be this. Set authenticated rule. We have our principal here. This is this string that I want to be the part of the role. So I need a role and principal. Sorry. The problem is I don't have the principal yet. For principal, it needs to do a login operation, which is this. Sorry, this is this. It needs to authenticate. So here it will have authentication, which has the principal. Um, how can we cover this? If I make this string, then that would affect my. Either way, this is creating a granted authority. So I think I can just save the uh, roles as a string. If I move this to string, this becomes this will work fine. Here it needed granted authority, for which we'll use the same simple granted authority. So it is mandatory for a user to have at least one role as user. So this list can never should be empty. And when this list is populated, we have the role created as the role underscore user. And next thing that we need to handle would be here. We have default roles at sign up, which is the roles user. It gets set during our sign up detail. And we are setting this rather than appending because the roles should be dictated by the server and not what the UI is sending us. So this is now list of string. So now sign up will sorry sign up table should now have a column as role. This is a list, so we'll have another table. Let's rename this to creation. Okay, we'll need a table called roles. This roles is a common table. This will hold all the roles present that are applicable. So basically, every single role that is allowed within the system. Okay. Serial. I'm trying serial out. So what serial will do is it will start from 1 till whatever the max limit is, rather than, so it's basically defining it as numeral and using the sequence. This does it on its own, and we don't have to manually coordinate it. Okay, so if we serial is a pseudotype, which simplifies generating auto-incremental sequence for the column. Okay, so serial uses 4 bytes, supports 1 to 100,000, 10,000 lakhs, and this is basically more than we'll need. Okay, so we are using serials. Role name, which will be non-nullable. For now, this is all it would have. I'm just thinking what else it needs, because role ID is now going to be a foreign key for users. So now we'll need a mapping between user and roles, because it's a one-to-many mapping, or many to many mapping. One user can have many roles. One role can be shared by many users. So we'll have another table, user roles mapping. This will have user role ID. This is again going to be a serial primary. This will also be its primary key. Then we'll have user ID. User ID is a foreign key. References users dot user ID. Let okay, we'll first type and we'll let Claude decide whether our syntax are correct or not. Then we have role ID. This is again foreign key. Let's use Claude to iron out our syntax errors. Okay. Missing semicolon at the end of each create table statement require you to terminate the statement in most execution contexts. No uniqueness contracts. A user could be assigned same role multiple times. No unicorn role. Duplicate role like two admin roles possible. On delete behavior. Composite primary key makes better sense here because neither of these values can change. I'll quickly restart my Postgres. Okay, there is no tables. I'll run this application. Okay, refactor did not change this. So we'll have to change our changelog XML too. There is a syntax error. Let's see what it is. Sorry, give me a minute. Okay, we have a trailing comma. We'll remove it and rerun the queries. And this time it seems it has executed both of them. We have our roles, we have our users, and roles mapping. Okay, now let's make a dummy entry. Okay, and for roles, we'll make an entry of user. Okay, what we are doing is copying the data so we don't have to run this again and again. We also need an entry in roles user mapping. If we'll call the script for initializing our tables. Before that, I'll add the entry to our change log, and I have restarted Postgres, so there won't be any data now. So now we'll modify our command, not command, sorry. We'll modify our login query. This is um, this is our login query. This returns whether user exists. The rule is added via our username authentication filter. Um, oh, we had liquibase. What I wanted was middleware. This this user is fetched via select user by user ID. Which is calling get users by email ID. So that would be this. This query returns me display name, email ID, and mobile number. What I also want is roles. So let's call this queue. It would be better if I could format it, but fine. We'll have roles. Roles are and user roles mapping URM. And the email ID and as the user ID with urm.user ID and r.roles ID equals to urm.roles ID. Role ID, sorry. and then return r dot role name as roles. Okay, for now, let's go with this. This will return me a single role, so that is going to be a string, but we have a list of string here. So this role needs to be a collection. I think then we can, sorry, then we can make this a subquery rather than a join. This gives me exactly the same output. Give me 1 minute. If the WT environment variable is not set, that's not the case. It's check security JWT secret. Here it is expected security JWT secret. So this should get populated. We'll stop this and run it as a Spring Boot application. We lose our debuggers, but it should still it should pick up application YML. So let's see if this works. Okay, things are created. It's still missing JWT fits. It's having trouble recognizing environment variables. Okay, let's test it this way. I'll hardcode this value. Now it should give the error that DB host user or password is not set. If we get that error message, then we'll confirm that IntelliJ is not providing environment variables. Secret is still null. Expiration time is here, but secret is not. Uh, I'm I'm assuming that. Oh no, I'll have to keep it. I was assuming it's not taking it as a string, but some other data type. Uh, the static could be a problem because static would initialize first, and our at the rate value, which is our runtime. How do we say this? So basically, the field is getting created, but the population is not happening because it's a static field already. Uh, how do I explain this? Hold on, before that. the static was the problem because static tells to create this variable before our class initialization. Actually, not initialization, but uh, basically the class would be created, then the field, and next would be the constructor and every other steps, and the other steps will be responsible for populating the values. And because we made it static, this value lose this stats and it no longer was able to populate it. So at the rate value uses, I won't say getter setter, but because of static, it was not able to properly link to this variable. So I'll revert my changes here. I'll stop this, restart the application, and it should still function. And this time the security key would be from the environment variable. Getting disconnected. The requested profile local could not be activated because it does not exist. That's a warning. The reason for the program getting stopped, um, I do have my JWT secret environment variable. I've added in application YML. This is supposed to be secret, not secret key. Now the application is running. A key is populating, and we have our JWT token. Uh, okay, let's use JWT It only returned username and time of issue and expiration. So we'll keep it till there. But this authentication would be called for further access. So let's copy this and let's call select user by ID. This user object has the roles as null. So Our query is correct, but uh, since our user is expecting a list, uh, I'm thinking that since we are using this uh, subquery, roles will automatically get converted to lists. Uh, but this I should have confirmed. While this is getting the output, we'll quickly confirm the variable names are correct and it's supposed to be list of string. Core problem that subquery is a scalar subquery. SQL requires it to return exactly one row, one column. If a user has more than one row, most database will throw a runtime error subquery return more than one row. It is not something SQL lets you collect into a list. Even in best case scenario, mybatis will see a single scalar column named row and try to set string property. It has no built-in logic, collection name rows, wrap it into a list. So we'll need a result map for this. Let's give this a try. So here we have declared our result map where we specified that roles is a hold on one second. Property roles. This is incorrect. So column would be roles. This. We don't want n+1 queries. Uh, Create result map without n+1 query. This is better. While server is starting, we'll quickly check the query. Fetch the users, fetch the roles mapping where user matches, and then fetch the roles where role matches, then run R, then filter on based on email ID. We get user ID, display, email, role. User ID, display name, user ID, display name, email ID, mobile number, column. So collection, these properties are my fields defined in our DTO. Column is this aliases that are being provided. So now if I execute this, I see it roles populated as users. It has the authority as role user. Into this, it has gotten the output. Roles is null, which is fine because we didn't handle all our queries to fetch the role. So currently only email search by email is returning the role. Okay, so the roles is successfully integrated. Let's quickly check our commits, what we have changed. So now our roles are simple granted authority, our JWT services now takes a secret key from environment variable. Our sign up method sets the default roles at the time of sign up as user. We have created, we have changed roles to be list of strings, and we updated our mapper file. So handling roles at user side, it will commit these things first, and for the next time we'll set up a refresh token, and off screen I'll write JUnits so we can test individual methods instead of following a list of swagger endpoints basically. So that's all for today. Thanks for joining.